What is good, people of all different types of ages, races, genders, and yes, even you other species out there watching this video? It's your boy, Omega Tech Talk, and it's time to talk tech. And on today's video, we're going to be discussing the Valve Steam Deck. This is the OLED model. I did have the original model as well. I did end up giving that to my girlfriend because I'm a W man. What can I say? Honestly, I'm jealous of my girlfriend. She gets all my tech hand-me-downs and shit like that. And honestly, she just gets the ball on a budget. She gets the ball for free, honestly. And I was like, man, when is it gonna be my turn? Anyways, rant aside, we're gonna be talking about the Steam Deck. On my PlayStation Portal video that I made, I had mentioned how you can use the Steam Deck itself as a portal using an app called Chiaki for Deck. And since I made that video, I had a lot of people, and even honestly, before I made that video, I had a lot of people come over to my Twitch streams and ask me to make a video about the Steam Deck. I had people in the comments asking me to make a video about the Steam Deck. And a lot of people want to know if the Steam Deck is actually worth it. And as you could probably tell from the title, that answer is an astounding, emphatic, and very energetic yes, bro. Yes, this, in my opinion, is probably the best gaming device you can buy because it's everything. And we're gonna go into more in depth with everything that the Steam Deck can do and why you might wanna consider buying yourself a Steam Deck, whether it's an OLED or even the original version if you wanna save some money. But I think by the time we're done with this video, you're going to want an OLED. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about why you should get a Steam Deck. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the beautiful Steam Deck here. I got a list of notes over here to talk about some things that I think are gonna be pertinent to you guys. Okay, so first and foremost, there is one thing I forgot to do. I usually do this in the intro of my videos. I record all my videos on mobile phones. So today, because of the new Pixel event, I'm actually recording this on my Pixel 8 Pro. Now, I generally don't love the video quality of the Pixel phones, but y'all let me know how you liked that intro and how you like the rest of this video being shot all here on the Pixel 8 Pro. Okay, so why do I think the Steam Deck is the absolute best handheld on the market? And there's actually, quite a few reasons, but I think one of the biggest reasons, and I think this is also like a positive to using something like an iPhone as well, right? Because this is like the handheld, right? Because this handheld here is like the premier PC gaming handheld. I personally feel like you get so much more utility out of it in terms of like community support, right? So we're talking more accessories, we're talking cases, screen protectors, whatever. We're talking even application support. We're talking, performance and stuff like that, even though this might not be as powerful as something like, the Asus handheld devices or any other sort of portable PC that's been coming out. The fact that it is the Steam Deck means that developers and community members in general have a vested interest in making things run as good as possible on the Steam Deck because the install base is much higher. Very similar to how, if you're a case manufacturer, you should probably make cases and make stuff for iPhone, especially, if you're a United States based, because iPhones have the primary dominant market share, so at least here in the United States. So it's kind of similar with the Steam Deck. You have all of those great aspects going for it. And I think that is honestly a very big reason to consider getting a Steam Deck, is because if you ever run into an issue or you ever have a question about a Steam Deck, it's not this niche device or whatever. Like, chances are whatever question you have about the Steam Deck has been asked by somebody else and has most likely been answered. And I actually really like that in a tech product, and that's why gravitating towards something like the Steam Deck, I think, is a good idea. Before I start glazing this device too crazy, let's go ahead and talk about some of the pitfalls that I find with this device. And the first pitfall is going to be, if you are not getting the OLED version, I do think you are fumbling. Just gonna be straight up and honest, the OG version was, I would classify nigh on unusable as a device. I'm gonna go ahead and fire up just a game here. We're gonna go ahead and do Final Fantasy X. So just so you guys have some background stuff going on. Yeah, if you get the original Steam Deck, the screen is horrid. Like like the original Steam Deck, while I did like that device and I got a lot of time out of that device, my God, that screen was hideous. The OLED has, obviously, since it's an OLED screen, it's gonna have the dark inky blacks. Those pixels shut completely off. You have a really good contrast ratio. This device here actually does use HDR as well. If you end up using something like HDR, you can go ahead and do that. But the picture quality, the saturation, the image quality, trust me, you do not want to fumble that. I'm not even sure why this did not launch. You know what? I think I pressed B because I was using my Switch last night, and the fact that these flip, man, that shit pissed me off. Anyways, I look like a little bit of a noob right here. But yeah, so that's gonna be a big thing. I highly recommend getting the OLED version. I had people ask me if they should just get the regular version, and the answer is absolutely not. You should absolutely get the OLED. What the hell just happened? What is going? I was just about to start glazing this thing. Is it because I wiped the screen? Did that do something? I don't know. Hey man, look, I'm doing it live. Y'all can see it yourselves. Type shit. I don't know, bro. Hashtag noticing. Anyways, another downside is that this device is not very portable. It's you know, they market it as a handheld PC, but I personally have never. Okay, so I guess Final Fantasy X is not. It's crazy because I played this on here before, so I'm not sure why that's not working. Okay, I guess I'll take it to Persona 3. It's not. This thing is not very portable. Like, I mean, you can look at the dimensions of the thing. I mean, it's pretty big, pretty cumbersome, pretty massive. You know what I mean? And so I never really, like, if I'm going out on a train ride or if I'm, you know, commuting anywhere or anything like that, I'm generally not going to take the Steam Deck with me just because it is so big, unless it's going to be a longer sort of a train ride, you know, like if I'm going to like New York, for example, and I'm on a train for like 4 or 5 hours or something like that, I'll definitely like whip out the Steam Deck in that case. But you know, I would not consider this thing to be like a daily carry type of a device just because, you know, obviously it is so massive. Another downside you might find is battery life. Now, obviously this depends a lot on what you're going to use this device for. So if you're going to be playing, you know, a lot of AAA games, you know, Persona 3 Reload, or, you know, other really extensive and demanding games, you're not going to get crazy battery life. Now, I will say, this device here, the Steam Deck OLED, does get better battery life than the original. So you do have that going for you if you wanted to do that. Other than that, like, I don't really think there's any other downsides to this device. You might be expecting better performance out of games, but honestly, if you know what you're getting yourself into, I think the performance is amazing. Like, a lot of the times, this device actually ends up blowing me away. The fact that I'm able to play Persona 3 Reload, which, yeah, I absolutely love this game, and it looks so good, especially on this OLED display. Like, I'm amazed. And I think the OLED display really does make games look even better than they do on the original device. It kind of reminds me of the Switch versus the Switch OLED, because when I was using the regular Switch, games would just look, you know, bad, and then the screen looked bad, so everything looked fucking bad. But then when the Switch OLED came out, I was really shocked by how much that improved my experience with the Nintendo Switch because of how vibrant and great everything looked. I think there's a similar thing going on here. Obviously, you know, no matter what you do, you're not getting, it's impossible to get more resolution. It's impossible to get better texture quality, but just everything looking nicer and looking better, I think is going to be a massive improvement there. Okay, I don't want to go too much into Persona 3. I don't know if people are going to be thinking like, oh shit, like I don't want to get spoiled or whatever. So I'm just going to exit out of here. I thought I would have been able to like go through the Tartarus and play a little bit, but unfortunately I can't. Ergonomics. Now in my PlayStation Portal review, I did mention how I felt like the PlayStation Portal was the most comfortable handheld and a very ergonomic handheld, and I still think that, I still believe that, but the Steam Deck is no slouch either. You know, you do have these nice grips on the back that your hand really does conform to, and it feels really good, especially if you're playing like a dual stick type of a game. I think that it works, you know, really well for that. Where I do find some uncomfortability, for example, if I'm playing a game that requires all the triggers, this isn't like super comfortable to use. It just feels a little awkward just because the device is thin, or it's not necessarily that it's thin, but like because the device is the shape it is and it does thin out over here, sometimes it feels like a little awkward. Whereas like compared to a normal controller, like for example, if I grab my DualSense, like it just feels a lot more ergonomic in this way. And I think the reason for that might be because on a regular controller, the stems kind of come out more. I'm not sure really what it is, but yeah, if you're playing all 4 triggers, it can kind of feel maybe a little odd there. You do have the buttons on the back, so that way you don't have to press the face buttons on a game if you don't want to. And then we have like the little mouse pad things. And I feel like I get why they're there. Like, don't get me wrong, because we're going to go into it in a little bit, how you can use this as like a full-fledged computer. So I understand that. And then there's some games that might require mouse movement, or there's some games that, you know, you might want to have something like this. But I kind of would like these gone. I don't know if that's a hot take amongst like Steam Deck owners. I don't really watch other Steam Deck videos like that. So I don't know how people feel about that. But I think that the addition of these make the ergonomics feel awkward. And I feel like if they take out the pads here, you can greatly slim down the device. You can move the A, B, X, Y buttons to be down here, or move the thumbstick to be down here and have the A, B, X, Y buttons up here, and then move this D-pad down here to get a more regular style controller. And I think that ergonomically, it would make the controller feel so much better, because as it is now, it's sort of like this Wii U kind of gamepad controller type. And I don't know, I don't really love the layout here. On some games it's fine, especially if you're playing like indies or whatever, it's not gonna matter that much. The D-pad is okay, but it just feels like there's too much cramped into this like little device here, and it ends up like sometimes not being the most comfortable, especially if you're playing in bed or something like that, you're laying down on your side. It's not always the best time. So I would really like to see the mouse pads removed. But hey, look, if that's gonna get me shot by Steam Deck owners, hey, bro, never mind, you could keep them. It's not like I'm that hell bent on it. It's not like I'm making it my life's mission to remove these damn mouse pads. I just personally don't see the need, especially when like you could just use a thumbstick as a mouse pad and then just like press this for a right click, press this for a left click. I don't see the reason to have the mouse pads on there. But maybe there's some accessibility reasons that I'm overlooking, or again, maybe there's just games that require that mouse thing that people really, really like. I don't know. But you know, that's just me. The speakers are good. The speakers sound great on here. Never had a problem. Again, the screen is big, beautiful, and gorgeous. On the Steam Deck OLED version, the fan noise is way reduced. So my Steam Deck original used to blare like crazy, like I'm talking tornado sirens type tips, but this doesn't really do it that much, so like that's great, and I love that. I wanted to talk about quickly the games that you can play on this, because a lot of people ask me that too, about how games are sorted on the Steam Deck. As you can see, I have this tab right here that says great on deck. And now these are games that are verified to run on the Steam Deck, and they should run without any hiccups or any issue. So if you scroll down here, you can see all the different games that you may already have in your library that you can just play on the Steam Deck with no additional setup, no headache. A lot of games here. There's even more if you were to go through to the store, and you can filter the store by great on Steam Deck, and all of these games are going to run kill confirmed amazingly on the Steam Deck. However, what about the games that don't have that great on deck tag? Can you still play those? And now that is going to definitely vary, because there's some games that you just cannot play. For example, if I scroll down here to, let's say, Call of Duty, where is Modern Warfare 3 at? I know I have it on here. Or does it not show up on here? Oh, I think it's because it's a Call of Duty HQ now. Activision. Don't piss me off. Anyways, so yeah, we got, if you're trying to play the new COD, trying to grind up your guns or whatever on the Steam Deck, you're not going to be able to do that because of the anti-cheat and everything that some of these multiplayer games run. Simply does not run on Steam Deck because of the operating system Steam Deck runs on. So that's a little bit of a letdown. I know on something like the Asus devices, you could play stuff like Destiny and all that shit on there, but you cannot play Destiny on this. I don't think you can anyways. I don't know, I'm not a Destiny gamer, but there's games like that you cannot play on the Steam Deck, and people might have an issue with that. But there is a workaround to that I wanted to talk about, because I think this is one of the cheat codes to a Steam Deck that I don't hear a lot of people talk about. And that, my friends, is going to be NVIDIA GeForce Now. Now, if you guys don't know what NVIDIA GeForce Now, just as a disclaimer, they don't sponsor this channel. They don't sponsor this video. I do work with NVIDIA GeForce Now on my Twitch stream. So I am sponsored through them through Twitch, and they do sponsor my streams. Like, usually we'll do these GFN Thursdays where I play a new game on GeForce Now on a Thursday, and they sponsor me for a month. So I worked with them for a couple months earlier on in the year, and I'm currently working with them, but this has nothing to do with that sponsorship. I just wanted to be point blank and honest and upfront with you guys, so you don't feel rug pulled or anything like that or whatever. I'm not even gonna put a link to NVIDIA GeForce Now in the description. I just actually believe in this thing, and I think that this thing can really get a lot out of the Steam Deck, because the way NVIDIA GeForce Now works is that these games are running on actual computers from NVIDIA, and then they just stream it to you, and there's minimal latency, minimal artifacting, and it works really, really well. I honestly cannot describe it to you unless you guys try it. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to run Baldur's Gate 3 on the Steam Deck using Baldur's Gate 3, the native game on the Steam Deck, and then I'm going to run it on NVIDIA GeForce Now. And I don't know if the camera is going to be able to show you the difference here, but hopefully it can, and let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like. Okay, and here I am on Baldur's Gate 3. I'm gonna try to show you guys exactly what this looks like up close, so this way you guys can see what the quality and resolution is going to look like, playing Baldur's Gate 3 on the Steam Deck. You can see that it's giving RuneScape. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the fact that this even runs on the Steam Deck, by the way, is a marvel. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, the fact that this can even run this game whatsoever and run it somewhat decently is like, that to me is incredible. And it runs pretty smooth, doesn't get too many frame drops or anything like that. Honestly, like, really impressive, the fact that it even runs at all. But, if you go ahead and take a little bit of a look-see-poo here, you can definitely see the jaggies. You can definitely see, the resolution is real, real low. okay, it's just real low. And I can go ahead and show you guys the options that it's running at here. So if we go into the video, you can see right there, 720p, 60 hertz, VSync, you got the FSR on, stuff on medium, and this is what it's running at, okay, on the Steam Deck. These are the Steam Deck settings. I believe these are the Steam Deck settings it loads with. I might have tweaked some stuff, I don't know. But yes, this is what it looks like, and this is what it runs like on the Steam Deck natively. Let me go ahead and show you what you could have your games look like on NVIDIA GeForce Now. And now here it is running on NVIDIA GeForce Now. Now, I don't know if you are going to necessarily be able to tell the difference through the video recording. I think you can. Like, if you look, like the Jaggies, I'll put side by side. The resolution is just so much higher. And you can run the game. I'm running it at 60 FPS. Now, I record the videos in 30, so you're not going to be able to see that. But I'm playing it at 60 FPS, solid, locked, textures on 1,000,000%. And you can see the resolution. It's good. And it's good. And I'm playing this with GeForce Now, again, minimal latency. I know this sounds like an ad, but I swear to God, like, I just really swear by this shit. Like, I actually use these streaming services regularly, especially on something like a Steam Deck, where if a game isn't performing that well, or let's say I can't even play the game, like in Call of Duty's example, I can't play that natively. With GeForce Now, I can play it on my Steam Deck, and at way better quality and resolution than you ever could have before. You can see I actually am running it at 90 frames per second. Well, actually I have the refresh rate here at 60. My maximum frame rate is 90, so I guess I'm not getting no 90. But you can set up the settings in the GeForce app itself. And honestly, to run NVIDIA GeForce Now and to download it, it's literally one click. If you have an NVIDIA GeForce subscription, you literally just like click on the Steam Deck app, it downloads it, installs it, and adds it to your Steam library automatically. You literally have to do nothing at all. And then when you log into Steam, to GeForce Now on your Steam Deck, you just type in a code, kind of like how you sign into a new Netflix device, or you sign into Netflix on a new device. It's kind of like that, but you're using GeForce Now. And I don't know how to prove to you that that this isn't an ad read. Fuck NVIDIA. NVIDIA, I hate you. You're the worst. Fuck GeForce Now. Don't use GeForce. I don't know how else I can describe it to you, bro. Like, but this is not an ad read. I just genuinely think that this elevates the Steam Deck experience to a crazy degree. Now, obviously, you need a good internet connection to even use GeForce Now. So that eliminates some users from even getting to experience this whatsoever. And then, of course, if you're trying to be actually portable with your Steam Deck, you can't really do that with GeForce Now because you need that internet connection. But like I said, I personally never really travel with my Steam Deck anyways. So GeForce Now is a great way to not only save storage space on my Steam Deck by not downloading these 80 gigabyte fucking games, but also so that way the device runs cooler, the fans don't heat up at all. I'm just streaming it. The battery life gets increased since you're just streaming the game and not actually playing it. There are so many upsides to using GeForce Now on the Steam Deck that I feel like it's definitely worth looking into at the very least. Now, GeForce Now is a little expensive, so if you're not gonna actually use it, then maybe don't go for it, but maybe try out a trial, see how it feels for you, and see if it's something you could actually see yourself using. Everybody that I've recommended GeForce Now to, even outside of my sponsorship windows, outside of all the sponsor, whatever, anybody I've recommended GeForce Now to has been absolutely amazed at the quality and the lack of latency. And I think that a lot of people have sort of a thing in their head that video game streaming is just dog shit, but I'm here to tell you that that's just not the case. And I think that you can get really good value out of your Steam Deck by using GeForce Now, in addition to running the games natively. And while we're on the topic of the versatility of the Steam Deck, again, I mentioned this in my Portal video, my PlayStation Portal video, you can also use your Steam Deck as a PlayStation Portal. So here I am launching Chiaki for Deck. This is going to be the app that you need to go ahead and download. There's many different tutorials out there, but honestly, it's literally like a one-click thing and you're good. And then you can set up your PlayStation 5 or PS4 or whatever with your Steam Deck, and it works just like a portal. I can turn on my PlayStation. If I just press Y, my PlayStation is right underneath my desk. I just heard it starting to turn on, and it's gonna go ahead, turn on the PlayStation just like it would on a PlayStation Portal. You can see that the state is ready. I click in, and I am playing my PlayStation 5 on my Steam Deck. And it works better than the PlayStation Portal. The latency is better, the visual fidelity is better, everything about it just works better. And it looks amazing, runs amazing. You could even, if I were to exit, how do I exit this shit again? There we go. If I were to exit this, it's automatically mapped to one of the back buttons, by the way. If you were to exit that game and go into the settings, you can change your actual bit rate, and I'm using 50,000 kilobits per second. You can also change your different codec, and you can even play it in HDR. You can play your PS5 in HDR on your Steam Deck OLED. This is exclusive to the OLED model, by the way, but yes, you can use this as a PlayStation Portal, and it is better than the PlayStation Portal. I can't even describe that to you. Like, that sounds like a joke, but it's true. But it's true. Again, and speaking to more versatility, there's also the XB Play app, which is kind of the same thing, except it's a little bit more janky to use. And I don't think my Xbox is plugged in right now, so I can't really showcase that to you. But I have used this as well. It's a lot worse than Chiaki for Deck, don't get me wrong. It's nowhere near as good or as smooth as that. But if you are an Xbox gamer and you're wanting to play some of your Xbox games on here, it works well. You can still do that. I've played, a handful of 2K on there. I've played some of Prince of Persia because I have that game physically for my Xbox. So I was playing Prince of Persia on here. And there's a lot of versatility with this device. You can play your Xbox, you can play your PlayStation, you can play PC games, and you can play any console you want to using EmuDeck to download emulators on your Steam Deck. And this, I feel like, is where this device really shines. Because unlike a lot of other handheld devices, you can do everything in terms of emulator setup, in terms of accumulating your ROMs or whatever, straight from the Steam Deck, because the Steam Deck is also a computer, which we'll get into a little bit in a second here, after we talk about the emulation. There we go. My bad. Again, that's that dementia kicking in. The emulation is amazing on this device. And I mentioned how you can play your PlayStation, you can play your Xbox, and if you set it up, you could also play your Switch. Now, I don't have that set up here, but you can play PS3, you can play PS2, GameCube, DS, Game Boy, NES, SNES, a bunch of things that you can set up. The thing that I've been playing the most on here is Ratchet & Clank Going Commando. Boy, this game is fire. And the best part is, with this device, we have save states. So you can go ahead and see this is what it looks like here. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, that looks a little jaggy. That doesn't look very HD-ified. Well, by using the shortcuts from the actual emulators itself, you can go ahead and upscale the game and make it look absolutely amazing. Now, you might get some hiccups like you saw there, but for the most part, I played a bunch of Ratchet & Clank. I played a bunch of Marvel's Ultimate Alliance with very minimal frame droppage at all, and it ran beautifully. I think I was usually running ×3 on Ratchet, and it looks incredible. Like, this looks amazing. You get the save states, you get the fast forward feature as well. Am I pressing that right? Maybe you don't get the fast forward feature on here. I think some emulators have it, some don't. Maybe I'm a dumb fuck. I don't know. It is what it is. But on some of the emulators, you get like fast forwarding. I'm pretty sure it's on here. I'm not sure why I'm not activating it. Again, maybe I'm a stupid bitch. But again, a lot of different features here that you can go ahead and use for yourself. You can see right here, I'm playing Ratchet, and it runs amazing, man. Like, it's just incredible. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all the emulators you can think of. And what's even, yo, bitch, what the fuck? I'm playing this through my my monitor, which is mirroring my phone display. So, like, you know, I'm a little ass. But what's even better is that you can get a dock for your Steam Deck, which is, I have a dock for my Steam Deck as well, and hook your Steam Deck up to a TV or a monitor or something, and now you have like a home console that you could use to play whether your PC games, NVIDIA GeForce Now, or your entire library of retro games on your TV. Running it at 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, whatever your Steam Deck can handle for the game that you're playing. We're talking GameCube, Nintendo Wii, we're talking GBA, we're talking NES, SNES, PS2, PS3, Nintendo Switch, everything beamed up on your television. And because the Steam Deck has Bluetooth, you can go ahead and grab any controller you want, pair it up to the Steam Deck, and it just works like a regular console. And one final thing to go ahead and talk about the versatility of this device is, of course, the fact that you can use this as a computer. And that is how you're able to get a lot of the third-party applications or a lot of the mods for your Steam Deck. You know, EmuDeck, which is how you get the emulator if you guys are interested, if you guys are going to get a Steam Deck or if you have one. EmuDeck is what you want to look up. Just look up a guide on how to set it up. Again, it's very easy. One click installs all the emulators for you, sets up all the settings for you. No, it's hassle-free, and it's going to be incredible. But, you know, you can open up Google Chrome or whatever web browser you want to. You can source your ROMs that, you know, you uploaded to your cloud storage after you ripped them yourselves, obviously. You can access them through your web browser here and do everything you want to on this device. Now, the download speeds are going to be a little bit slow if you're downloading your ROMs from your cloud storage, the cloud storage that you uploaded your own ROMs to, obviously. It's going to take a bit to download, so I usually just leave this thing plugged in while I'm downloading all my ROMs and just keep it pushing. I just like the convenience of being able to do everything from here. You could very easily just have the ROM files on your computer and then transfer them to your Steam Deck, and that would be a lot quicker. But I'm a lazy bitch, and I like doing everything from here. So that's why I do it that way. You know, I make things difficult for myself. What can I say? But regardless, man, you know, web browsing, you got all that. Make new tabs, Google whatever you want. You want to, hey, man, Pixel 9 Pro Fold. I want this phone so bad. I'm not going to lie to you, chat. I'm not going to lie. I want this so bad. You know what I'm saying? And this is where you can see why those mouse pads are here. If you do use this as a computer, you know, you get a little bit more functionality here. I don't think very many people do that. But again, the Steam Deck is a device where, like, it allows you to interact with it in any way you want to. And it is the most versatile gaming device you could possibly purchase. And that's why it gets such high recommendations, not only from me, but from pretty much anybody that owns one. This thing is going to, I don't want to say it's going to change the way you play games, but it very well could. This thing could very well change the way you play games. So ultimately, do I recommend the Steam Deck OLED? The answer is obviously yes, but I have to put in a big asterisk here because of the fact that if you're anything like me, I think you're trying to convince yourself that you need this thing way more than you actually do, right? Because I did the same thing for myself. I told myself, instead of getting a PlayStation Portal, I'll just upgrade my Steam Deck to the Steam Deck OLED and use Chiaki for deck and actually be able to use the emulation and all that other stuff. And it's gonna be my all-in-one gaming device. And it was that for quite some time. But then my curiosity struck. I ended up getting a PlayStation Portal anyways. And, you know, even though I do play the emulator sometimes, not as much as I thought I was going to, you know? So I think you have to be honest with yourself, okay? Look at yourself in the mirror and be like, hey, self, is this something you're actually going to use? Because the Steam Deck, while I think it is an amazing device, and while I don't think you would regret it, you've got to be real with yourself because this thing is expensive. Before you go out and spend all of this money on this device, like me, I'm a dumbass. I waste my money all the fucking time. So it is what it is. For me, I don't really care if I waste my money. You know, if I get some good use out of it for a little bit, then that's worth it to me. But to the everyday person, can I recommend spending hundreds of dollars on this thing if you're not really going to use it? Again, be real with yourself, bro. Like, do you think you're going to use this device every day? Are you really going to go through the effort of downloading all of your ROMs, of getting all the emulators and playing emulation on this device? Do you really think you're going to play a bunch of Baldur's Gate 3 on here? Do you really think you're going to use this as a portal most of the time? Do you really think you're going to use GeForce Now or whatever? Are you really going to use this device more than you would your gaming computer or your PlayStation 5 or your Nintendo Switch? I think you know the answer to that deep down. And I think like once you stop trying to convince yourself you need some shit and you be real with yourself, you might stumble upon a few revelations of your own. But with that being said, if you do go out and spring for this and you do actually fit the use case for this device and you use it regularly, you're going to be extremely happy that you did. The Steam Deck OLED is one of the only devices that I own where I can give it a glowing recommendation and say, absolutely, this is a safe purchase. But just be real with yourself. Are you gonna fucking use it? Thank you guys for watching this video. It has been your boy, Omega Tech Talk, and thank y'all for talking tech. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video.